yesterday I was recording and I wasn't looking at this button, the record button. But then when I went to clean up, I realized it was flashing.
Just like it was the other day.
The other days.
Yeah.
But ours, at least like recorded and saved, it was just getting full.
Mm-hmm.
This one was completely empty and only recorded 6 minutes.
Holy shit.
And I was like, okay. And with the other one we use, that one's 2 terabytes. The one we use is 1. And I'm like, it had 0 on it. I don't know what's happening. But I wasn't paying attention because, I was in the middle of that. But here we are. Oh, Jesus. I didn't even have, wow. Rough start.
You want to look at this thing?
Rough start. Left my drink out there. Can you get I'll get the computer. Oh my God. Get me out of here, folks. Wow.
He's losing it.
That is.
Did you take a drink to the bathroom?
What?
It's right here.
I was like,
Maybe.
no, mate, I don't usually do that.
Not usually a Tuesday.
God bless it. Wow.
Try to keep together, sir.
I'm gonna try.
Do your best.
I'm gonna do my best. Woo. Still haven't made the overall standings things, but all right. Cool. Well, how you been? Good week? Good week, everybody?
Good weekend.
Had a good weekend? That's good.
You?
That's good. Yeah, it was solid. I remember what we did, actually. Actually don't.
Sign of a good weekend.
Cleaned a lot, did a lot. Didn't make as much food, but I will be probably smoking this weekend.
It's supposed to be pretty nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So tomorrow's supposed to be back into the 50s.
Yeah, it's we're getting there.
I played golf.
Oh, well, talk to us about it.
You were mad.
They were mad?
You were mad.
I was mad, absolutely. I didn't get an invite, but were they mad because of how you played?
No, nobody would have been mad because of how I played.
Oh, except for yourself.
No, I played with my uncle. He shot 1 under.
Oh.
But he's already probably played like 8 rounds outside.
Oh, I was like 1 under first round out. Well,
No, he
just
just as good.
that's fair.
It's so annoying too because
Because he's just good.
He's the golf shark.
Oh,
Walks up in jeans, plays every
No warm
round.
up.
If he's wearing long pants in golf, they're always jeans. And he swings like Jim Furyk, Bernard Langer combo.
wow.
So like not a lot of swing speed, a little
Weird.
awkward.
Yeah,
Pretty low ball flight.
down the middle.
Like always, most of the time, always in play. If we're not in play, we're rolling in a 15-footer from the fringe or chipping 1 to 2 feet. It's just one of those where
Just one of those.
and he'll have his bad rounds or whatever, but like his bad rounds are like 75 to 77. And then, he'll go out and shoot 68, 71, 74. So, I mean, he's a little bit older, so it's a little more sporadic, but it's still.
Yeah, but if my disbursement was 68 to 77,
Right. Yeah.
I do not think I would be upset.
Yeah. And like distances, like he's just a guy that like from 175,
It's on the green, like it's
and it's a hybrid.
yeah.
So he's not hitting like a 7-iron.
Right.
His 3-wood goes 220 max. Drivers maybe 250. But everything is just.
The key is,
And he plays the proper tees. So I mean, as far as what he should play, 1 for his age and 2 for like his distance.
Yeah.
So like he's not trying to play the tips.
He's not
and be,
come back
like,
to the tips.
super impressive or anything like that. Like he knows.
Does he ever piss you off where you're like, fine, let's go to the tips,
Well,
and then he beats you? Does that ever happen?
He just really doesn't.
Just wouldn't do it.
Joe is usually the one that calls him out for that because Joey's always one that wants to play from the tips for
Because it's
obvious
more
reasons.
comfortable for him.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
You can
yes,
go
he's
driver
long
on
and all
him.
that, but he's just comfortable because I can
Right.
go driver.
Right. It's not. And yeah, ultimately good round. I had 1 birdie, handful of pars, a lot of bogeys, a couple doubles.
Just from rust or
Back is not in good shape right now from the sledding stuff. Still, we're still overcoming that. A month later, at age 37, these are things that
we're still overcoming that.
Do stupid shit, win stupid prizes. Is ultimately what that comes down to. So
there you go. Well,
should have stayed in the vehicle instead of in the sled. So
shoulda, coulda, right?
Yeah. So now we are doing lots of stretching, going to the chiropractor, all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's get into it. Rundown of the week of the Hyundai Classic, and we'll let you know what our season points and shitty shot and all that stuff are at. Although I think I might have missed one of yours because I thought you had 2-0.
I should have 2-0. I should have 3 total.
You should have 4
this week.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't add yours up yet. But anyways, we'll go through that and then a little Twitter feed and we'll get into the Arnie.
Man.
Arnie Classic. Obviously, as you guys know, our golf podcasts just are not as long because there's lesser content. When it's not a very great tournament either, it's even lesser.
Yeah.
It's even lesser, and I think that'll be this week. So
I was just going to say, we're going to need to fake some excitement here this week.
The recap is bad. I don't...
we weren't good, and then the golf wasn't good, and so...
It's not good.
Yeah.
However, we'll get to it on Twitter.
Yeah.
The ratings, just ridiculous.
Yeah, right. So, I don't want to...
don't
want to ruin the only very few tidbits that we do have. Quick rundown here. Honda Classic. Last year of the Honda Classic, actually, I believe.
Yeah.
And so Chris Kirk took it down. That would be the one thing that I would point out to those of you out there who have no idea who that is or anything along those lines. Not even from a golf perspective, but his story is really cool. Recovering alcoholic, 2019, I believe it was, left the tour to get sober, has struggled with it for a long time, and finally did. And so in his celebration speech, one of the big things that he pointed out was that he was glad that he was going to be able to celebrate without alcohol or without thinking that he needed to have the alcohol to, as we sit here and drink. Cheers to that. Hey, we'll do it for you, Chris. Pour one out for Chris.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he played well. Made the shots when he needed to down the stretch and got her done in the playoff. So,
which is exciting.
Yeah,
exciting finish. But
Cole was the last name of the guy and that guy is known for being a mini tour phenomenon. And so it was kind of interesting because it was the comeback story versus the mini tour phenomenon type of thing. So good back and forth there. Golf enthusiasts and people that have done deep dives and followed the tour for a long time will probably have heard of those names or know those guys and were entertained. But the tournament itself, the cream really didn't rise to the top as far as there was very little cream to be able to rise to the top. And I mean, unfortunately, my player to fade was the only one who was remotely competitive.
You're not wrong.
So there's that. But just also the tour has started so hot with the big tournaments, the exciting tournaments, and a huge turnout that eventually you're going to have a little bit of a letdown of a week.
Right.
It is golf.
It is
as much as we love it. It is still golf. Call it what it is. And so, the Honda Classic is now in the rear view.
You know what it reminded? I'm gonna bring it to football a little bit. You know what it reminded me of?
What's that?
Preseason football.
That's fair. But after the regular season started.
Yeah. We went, let's do an all-star preseason game.
I got it. It's the SEC football schedule.
It's
after you play 9 straight weeks of SEC opponents.
Cupcake.
And then you would play the Citadel.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And week 10.
Absolutely.
Before you
but not
finish up.
dominate them, though. Like,
No.
it was a close game for some reason.
Right, but like for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like 48-7.
Yeah,
It was 17-7 after 3 quarters, and then
48.
yeah.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Bring it full circle there.
Yep.
Full circle.
Starting at the top here, we'll take a look at our picks for this week. You had Kuchar at plus 3,000. He did not make the cut.
It's just shit.
Did not make any money.
My lord.
We did need to talk about which guy we were using for the money, the one and done or the outright winner.
Yeah.
We went back and forth on that, but I had Vegas, who made the cut on the number, had to make a birdie, I believe, either on 17 or 18 on Friday in order to make the weekend. But then had a really solid weekend, actually. Specifically Sunday, I think he shot 65 on Sunday to get
64.
to 64 on Sunday to get to T21, $88,100 earned. For outright winners, you took Vegas in that category. I took Pendrith. Vegas 21st again. Pendrith 42nd. Both made the cut at least, which is pretty much all we can say for ourselves this week.
Right.
Moving to Black Stallion, the 50-1 or better. You had old Webb Simpson.
Made the cut, baby.
T74.
Man, he did not play what I thought he would either.
I had I went with a real long shot there, plus 10,000 with Eric Van Rooyen. Did not make the cut. Top 40, Ryan Palmer did not make the cut for you. I had Webb Simpson top 40. He did not finish top 40. So, yeah, we suck and suck.
But he didn't get cut.
He did not get cut.
So you got a point.
Hey-oh.
Oh,
jeez. Yeah, thanks. Thank goodness.
Gee whiz.
And then player to fade, you had Aaron Wise, who finished T29. He was projected third. I had Shane Lowry, projected second, faded all the way to fifth. So
Woo!
no, while my fades were strong early on when I was struggling, they have since faltered when my one and done picks have been a little bit better. So figure it out on both ends.
I can't.
One of these days.
I can't earn money, so we're there. Let's get into that though. That was our recap. We'll do I want us to talk about what we're going to decide with the money and all of that.
Yeah.
Ergo, because it might change the overall standings, we'd have to adjust.
Right.
So, what was your question? The money earned, right?
Yeah.
Oh, one and done or outright. So
I thought we've always done one and done. Because
we've always done one and done because of the pool.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is why we did shitty shot on the
outright
winner.
Correct. Yep.
Now, I have a shitty shot this week because Kuchar got cut and he was my one and done.
Right.
If you're one and done or outright get cut,
Either one.
guaranteed.
Yep.
Guaranteed you have a shitty shot.
And then you outscored me though overall.
Correct.
Based on our point system, so therefore I have a shitty shot for the scoring.
That is correct.
So 1-1 this week.
1-1.
So cute.
So cute. We only have 2 left.
Well,
And one looks a little darker than the other.
peanut butter for you.
Oh,
It's actually peanut butter.
all right. It's not a whiskey. That's not a peanut shaped whiskey barrel.
One of these days, I'm just gonna pour one of those into the peanut butter one, just get the reaction.
I'm not gonna lie. That is one of the worst whiskeys I think I've.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like even McCormick's and Hawkeye.
Oh yeah.
That one's up there with a.
I think it's worse because I think it's more concentrated.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, you're not right. You're not wrong. Also, if you think it is root beer, probably makes it worse.
Even the worstest.
Yeah, the worst. What do you got over there?
I got some pineapples,
Oh, a little
which is
pineapples.
also not good if I remember correctly.
I don't think so.
Nope. Still not.
Peanut butter's not bad. It actually is good. Well, for these shots,
The peanut butter's like the best one.
even when right when it hits your tongue, it's sweet. Like you know it's gonna be all right. Those don't. Those
They just always burn.
aren't good. They're not good.
I mean, there's a reason they cost what they do,
That-
and there's a reason they're called shitty shots.
Yep. All of
So-
that is accurate. We will have, yeah, I mean, I guess we could, before we get to the overall standings, I mean, we could start sprinkling a little college basketball into this thing. Did you watch the Drake game?
I did.
Okay, we can talk about that.
Watch the Drake game.
Let's we'll do. Sorry, I butt in. That was my fault. Let's get to overall standings so you guys are updated where we're at, and then then we can get into a little college basketball, at least the Drake game. Which, anyways, season points. Stoy's at 31. His college number.
Are these updated?
Yep. The points are. The shitty shot's not. The money is.
Do you want me to change that or not?
You can leave that for now, y'all. I'll fix it. Don't worry. Season points, I'm up by 2, 31-29. Shitty shot, I am down 1 or up 1. Depends how you think about it. But I've had more shitty shots than Cole by 1. The money is not even a factor. I am down by $2.3 million in the money count. Could all change in one tournament still.
One winner away.
Now, when that starts to get to the 9s, I'm in trouble.
Right.
But for now,
nothing.
We're one.
It's early.
It's early.
It's early.
We have 20-something other tournaments to go.
First half of the first quarter.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. So, there's the cap of the Hyundai Classic. Hyundai. My bad, Honda. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's your last year doing it. Yeah, whatever. Foreshadow. Right. Did I spill the beans on something I don't know?
Possibly.
And you'll be all right.
Let me put a quick call in.
Yeah. Right. So yeah. Congrats there. Overall. So let's get into a little college basketball. We're getting into that time of the year. Yeah. Now, for everyone, Missouri Valley is actually playing their conference championship this week. Most all others are next week.
Yep.
But that being said, it was this weekend, Sunday, 3 p.m., when Drake went to Bradley for the regular season championship, and I cannot wait to talk about. I have a thing against regular season and conference championships. I don't understand it. Yep. Anyways, they were battling for the number 1 seed in the conference championship, but also regular season title. We beat them by 25 points at home earlier in the year. And the game was, I thought they had a really good defensive strategy, Bradley. I really did. They just took people away. It was, but it wasn't, it was one of those games where your best player didn't show up, or arguably your best player didn't show up, and it just didn't seem like they had the energy. It flat, just a flat game for me when I was watching it, and I never felt like they were going to win it. By the way, from Tip actually, it just felt like they didn't have that edge. And Bradley, playing at home, you always have a little edge. Just had that extra fire of really wanting to win this game. Whereas I believe our guys' mindset was more like, meh. And that's kind of how I thought about it. And I'm okay with it. I didn't really care that they lost. I wish they would have played better, but no one got hurt.
Right.
You're healthy.
Which
you're 2 seed. And I think you're on the better side of the bracket. Personally.
In March, Drake needs to stay healthy. They haven't.
No.
For the last few.
Right.
They've always had a significant injury this time of year.
Correct.
Hopefully it doesn't happen in the conference tournament and they can make a run through there and win the thing. They were picked to win the Valley, so this is not a surprise. They basically were exactly where they were projected to be. Struggled a little bit early on, which hurt them late. They just didn't have any room for error. They won 10 in a row, I think it was, and had a letdown on the road in front of 14,000 people. Bradley, it was funny. I was listening to radio, and Sean Roberts on KXNO was at the game, and he said the lady that was sitting in front of him turned around and was like, "You guys made it for quite the game. There's usually only about 3,000 people here." So, they had 10,000 more people than usual at the game.
It was their first regular season title in 27 years.
Right.
They had so much more to play for. Let's be honest.
There's a storied history. Obviously, they had revenge on the mind from a beatdown in Des Moines. Also, again, you're at that point where you can win a conference championship for the first time in 27 years. So,
correct.
Since the 90s,
bravo,
as they say.
Bravo to you.
So they played well. They had one guy, not even going to try to remember his name, that seemed like he couldn't miss.
Number 10?
Tucker couldn't make and just kind of forced some stuff. Got a little frustrated towards the end when he really started forcing. Ultimately, Tucker has to play well, but Penn's kind of the engine, in my opinion, that makes that team run. When he gets hot, gets going.
He was the only one to me that had that energy.
Yeah. He's a guy that's been there for 12
Sturts
years.
did too, obviously. He always does. Like that's
right,
not
but
saying
like
that, but
he can't make a difference in the scoring column most of the time.
Right.
It's going to like you just have to have that the guy making threes or the guy making the dunk, whatever's going to change momentum for you. It just never felt like, to your point, that
they were. No.
Bradley was just never let the game get to that point where like Drake could seize momentum or anything like that. So,
and even early, like when it first 2 possessions and Brody gets a ticky tack like body big man foul, and I immediately went, oh
yeah, just gonna be that kind.
This is gonna be this game. And I'm not saying the refs on that. I'm just saying like they're too big. And they're big men. Like they were big boys. Just let them play. But overall, I didn't love it. I didn't love it for them. But again, what does a regular season title mean in college basketball? Please, anybody.
It means an automatic bid to the NIT.
Cool.
You asked.
I know, but like I've never really known, and
that's what it means, and that's might be relatively new. I don't really know, but like I know for a fact that that's what it means.
Oh, well, that's good. That's cool. That's good.
And if you're the Ivy League, it means a berth to the NCAA tournament because they do not have
because they don't have one.
So
this is their conference tournament. I'm champion, which makes
wealth
sense.
of knowledge.
Because
any other questions you got for me?
It never makes sense to me. Sure, NIT, fine, but what are we all playing for? Like really, I never understood like when people get excited, whether it's and usually because I am in Iowa, the state fans are jacked about winning it. And I'm like, what does it matter? You don't get an AQ at all.
Right. I mean, it's history of the program type of stuff, obviously, from a Bradley
but
perspective.
Are you a conference champion?
I mean, yes.
No, you're not. You're a regular season.
Well,
doesn't postseason mean more?
Regular season conference champion.
But doesn't postseason mean more?
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'm just saying that.
But basketball, you're weird.
I think this year is a huge difference in the field being so even, up and down, sporadic, college basketball in general, that having a fresh team going into the tournament, that's not to say you want to lose games, but like peaking too early is definitely going to be a thing this year. Having injuries is definitely going to be a thing. Peaking late is going to be a thing. Making a long run through a tournament, possibly hurting your tournament chances. It's all going to be, I feel like, more top of mind than normal because of the hot cold of so many teams in college basketball.
And I also think there's something to say about, like, back to the Drake Bradley. They're both on long win streaks, so someone had to win.
Right.
But I would rather lose that game and not be on an 11-game winning streak.
Right.
Going into the postseason where you have to win every game.
Right.
Than coming off, being able to lose like they did and having that extra thing. There's got to be something there for that. But I just never really understood that. However, I do like Drake's side of the bracket personally a little better.
Yeah.
They're either going to open up with Murray State or Valpo. I'm good there. They've got Southern Illinois, Missouri State, or UIC on the other side too. I like that route a little better than Bradley has. UNI or Illinois State and either Belmont, Indiana State, or Evansville. Mm-hmm. Actually, on that, I think having the 2 seed actually provides a little better. I don't know. Some people might disagree, but I really like that from a college basketball perspective.
No, I think so as well. I liked the draw there. I also think from Drake's perspective, struggled early, fought through it, stayed healthy, got healthy, had an extended period of really good play. We know how we want to play. We know what we need to do to win. We understand how to win. We won blowouts. We've won multiple overtime games. Sure, you got a bummer in you had a dud, but much rather have the dud now than one in conference play or two in any postseason that you were going to get to. So now's the time to make a run. Now's the time that matters. To your point, 100%. If you ask Bradley, hey, we can trade you this for this. Do you want the regular season champion trophy or do you want a spot in March Madness? And they'll take March Madness 100% of the time. So it's not even a question that has to be asked.
Nope, not at all. All right. What's our Drake boys?
So, yeah. Say quickly, you and I unless they make a run in the tournament, will not make the tournament. They've really struggled down the stretch. So they will not, most likely not be playing postseason basketball. Iowa and Iowa State seem firmly in the tournament, somewhere between likely 6 and 10 seeds, just depending on how they finish down the stretch. Iowa had an amazing overtime win where they scored 15 points in
that was
90 seconds.
We're sitting at brunch, and we're watching. And I'm like, well, these are both over. I look down. I'm like, Iowa, there's something about that score that's interesting over the Iowa State.
Right.
And I'm just sitting there watching, and I'm like, oh, my Lord. Yeah. Oh, my Lord. That was great. Good for them.
That was really good. And Iowa State blew a lead last night that they should have won the game at home. They didn't. Again, they've got some quality wins throughout the year that are going to protect them later in the year.
The Big 12 bringing in like 7 teams or something.
Yeah, both Big 12 and Big 10 will have 8 or 9 teams. Now the Big 10 has like 14 or 15 teams, remember, and the Big 12 actually only has 10 teams.
Yeah.
So 8 out of 10 of the Big 12 teams are projected to get in, and possibly 9.
That's huge.
Yeah, and both of them, like the worst team right now in the Big 12 is Oklahoma. They beat Alabama, who is number 2, I believe,
for a while,
by 25 points when they played them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I just blew them out.
First of all, can we talk about how Alabama
is number 1 or number 2?
Was number 1 or 2 at some point.
Just
in basketball.
Right.
Okay. That's the type of madness I need this year.
This goes to the the parallel of college basketball and just the overall evenness. The teams you have to be scared of this year right now are Purdue, Houston, Alabama, and I don't even know right now who's 4th. It's kind of gone up and down.
I mean, maybe Purdue does with their big
Kansas might be 4th. Baylor's up there, but those 2 teams have won the last 2, Kansas and Baylor. They're going to be up there. But like, there's the top 3. The top 3 teams I just named there scare absolutely no one, and that's from Drake to Iowa to Kansas.
Right.
Like, on any given night, Drake feels like they can beat any of those top 3 teams. I mean, they beat Mississippi State,
right,
who's competitive in the SEC, by 20 points at home earlier this year. So, like, there's not an intimidation factor from the 1 seed to the 16 seed in this year's tournament, in my opinion. So I think we're going to see quite a few upsets. But I do think there are certain teams that are getting hot at the right time. And I think that, again, to what we talked about, that really matters this year. The teams that are meshing, the teams that are healthy are the ones that you're going to see successful. And I think a lot of that has to do with the COVID rules and everything like that. You've got a lot of very mature, You've got 6 and 7, 8-year guys. Yeah. Yep. You've got 25-year-old men playing college basketball.
We run nonprofits and stuff. Like,
graduated by 22. So, I mean, you got to keep that in perspective. Stetson Bennett at Georgia this year when they won the national, he was 25 years old.
Older.
26 years old, 25 years old.
Do you believe, because the new quads, I guess they're called. I'm not a basketball guy, guys. I love basketball. I'll bet on it, and I'll beat his ass when we do our March Madness thing. However, that saying, this new quad scoring or ranking, it started last year, I believe.
Yeah, as far as like releasing the top 4 in each.
Yeah. Last year's Madness was madness.
Yeah, it was crazy, but the Blue Bloods ended up.
But I mean, from more of a ranking standpoint, in my opinion, like I went into last year going, some of these lower seeds should not be lower seeds; they should be higher seeds.
Yeah, it's just so hard.
I'm just saying, because that was not just me, in my opinion, that was others. That just the seeding was wrong. Do you believe that gets corrected this year? Is that just part of the new system?
I just don't think that it can, because the overall problem with that, in my opinion, is one, they're trying to give the non-Power 5 conferences more of a voice, more of a stance, as they should, right? Because they've shown the ability to compete, so on and so forth. The other thing is like you look at the Big 12 this year, from Oklahoma, who is 10th in the Big 12, to Kansas, who is 1st in the Big 12. Those teams just aren't that far apart. Like on a neutral floor, that's a Kansas 4 or 5 point game. At Kansas would be expected to win. At Oklahoma, Kansas probably still a small favorite, but like we're talking 1 or 2 points from a betting perspective. Maybe a little bit more than that, depending on trends. But like that's the best top to bottom league in the country, and it's not close, hands down. Their worst team would finish probably mid to upper quarter of every other conference in America. And so when you look at an Iowa State who has like 7 or 8 quad one victories, they're 17-12 now, 17-13, 8-9 in the conference, and they're still considered like a 6 seed. And so if they win a game, it doesn't really move them. If they lose a game, it might hurt them a little bit. You can't lose games at home, which they lost their last 2. That's going to hurt. They were a 4 seed a week and a half ago.
Right.
They've really been on a downward trend. But Big Ten, same thing. It's like they've got 2 or 3 bad teams, but they're going to get 9 teams in the tournament. And so when you look at that, it's like, okay, where do I put Drake when they win their conference?
Right.
They're going to be a 12 seed if they win.
Yeah.
That's just the typical 5-12 game, and they're going to play the 4th best team in the Big Ten.
And they're going to have 27 wins.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and so we see that every year, but the problem is now is that you're getting to a point where there's just not as big a difference. And so like last year, Carolina, they were an 8 seed. They played like garbage. They are literally right now with the exact same team that made the national championship last year, fighting tooth and nail. Every victory is putting them one step closer to being in the tournament. They're not in the tournament right now. And they have the exact same team that played in the national championship last year. Complete anomaly. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. I mean, they've had a little bit of injury stuff here and there, but like no excuse to be even fighting on the bubble.
Is college basketball just getting that parity?
I mean, I think it goes back again to the seniority thing a little bit, but just also like, yes, you have the seniority, but the seniority is kids that weren't going to go to the NBA anyway. So like, not only are they older, more experienced, but they're also getting stronger and better and more mature as far as reacting to moments where you have like momentum shifts in college basketball. They're able to deal with that easier. So you see more big comebacks, more big shots made, that type of thing. Just they've been in the moment so much now that it's just like, yeah, I can go play. Like there's no fear of playing Kansas. There's no fear of playing North Carolina. Like, yeah, I'm just going to go in there and beat their ass. Like, I don't care.
So back to, let's flip it off to golf, right? Let's pull it full circle. Is it kind of like the new blood with Tiger?
Oh, absolutely.
Like they've grown up with those names. They've grown up with that fear to where it's like it's a no factor, or at least it's a no factor up until maybe like, that putt to win, the Masters against
the putt to win, or
like
the last
something
3
like that.
holes.
But like, is it
we
that?
can play 2 and 3 days of a tournament.
Are we seeing that?
I'm not scared of Rory. I'm not scared of Spieth.
Right.
I'm not scared of Tiger. That new guard. That's what they've seen.
Is
that's what they expect.
Is that college basketball?
That's college basketball, and it will continue to be one because you'll continue to have guys leave after 1 year. You'll continue to have
Nil.
That's
probably a huge thing.
And Nil might keep a few more people, but honestly, I think Nil has a bigger impact on the women's side than it does on the men.
Probably because they stay longer.
Well, they can stay. They can make the same amount of money and stay in college, which they were already staying longer, but now at least they're getting paid. So like, I mean, Caitlin Clark is the story around the country, and she even made the comment on Dan Patrick's show the other day that she was considering staying for 5 years, and the only difference to her was, she made the comment directly of, I can still get a nil package while I'm playing for the NBA or the WNBA.
Right.
That's just that's the marketing dollars that anybody's making that, LeBron or anybody else. So it's like, yes, I'm still going to be making more money when I go to the WNBA. However, do I need to? I'm living in Iowa City. I'm getting probably at that point a master's in something.
I'm better in my own personal
I love
life.
playing in front of a sold out crowd, not only at home now, but she's selling out visiting arenas at this point.
Because of her brand. Why wouldn't you continue
She's selling out Nebraska. She's selling out Indiana.
Why would
those places aren't selling out when Caitlin Clark's not in town.
Not in women's basketball.
In women's basketball? Absolutely not.
Volleyball? Nebraska? Different story.
Right. But
Indiana,
I mean, they're also not playing. They're also not selling it out to 15,000.
So, I mean, to your point, back to the obviously the women's. I get the nil thing. That makes so much sense. But we're seeing parity.
Yeah,
I love it, which causes more madness.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like that? For,
I mean, ultimately, I think that the teams that are best coached and have the best players, you're going to end up with those teams in the Elite Eight.
Is that why we had like? I remember last year was like 3 or 4 1 seeds, like in most of the 2s. Like the cream still made the top.
Right.
We just had some cluster to get there.
And it's just, again, it's going to be, okay, Purdue might be struggling a little bit. They're still probably going to go in on the 1 line. Is Purdue that, like, you're going to be more magnified specifically as a 1 or a 2 seed that might be struggling versus one that might be trending in the right direction, or a 3 seed that was supposed to be better than they are, maybe had an injury, whatever it may be, that's trending up. And it's like, they've got the dudes. Like, that's my team I'm riding with.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a lot more of that. Now, obviously, it's still a buzzer beater away, as we know with March Madness. There's always going to be a close game every year that you have to win in your run of 6 to win it. So you've got to survive that game, whatever the game is, whether it's the first round, the third round, the national championship, it doesn't matter.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. And likely maybe even more now. Maybe it's going to happen 2 times out of 6 or whatever. You're probably going to have a game or 2 that ends comfortably.
Is it safe to say that 1 seeds are no longer safe?
Oh, yeah. And I think that's gone.
It's proven in the last couple of years.
Right. They're safe compared to the rest of the field, but no, there's no team that is going in with the 3-point line changes that. That's the Steph Curry effect, in my opinion. It's what he's done to the men's game, and it's also what he's done to the women's game. He has made basketball more exciting because you don't have to be able to dunk to make the game fast-paced and to make the game high-scoring. And those are the 2 biggest things that basketball in general was struggling from, is that the only exciting part was above the rim. Steph Curry made playing below the rim super popular. And you're seeing that in the game, and then you're seeing that from a competitive standpoint, is that the little guy has figured out a style in which he can compete by making more 3-pointers than you make 2-pointers. Like, sure, we'll give up 2, but we're going to get 3.
Math works.
Because I only have to make 2 of those while you make 3 dunks.
Yeah.
So if you can find the right strategy on any given night, I can make 7 threes. I can do, whatever it is. It doesn't matter if I can guard your 7-foot.
I don't like it because I love the physicality.
Right.
But that's just
Big Ten basketball.
I just lied, man.
You just got to watch the Big Ten.
Give me some big dudes and just hammer home.
Just let them. And there's also the death of the big man a little bit, because you have to be
the big men go out and shoot threes now.
Oh, yeah, but they also have to be able to go out and guard the team that doesn't really even technically have a big man. And so you pick your poison of, am I going to throw it to that guy inside enough times to where he is going to either make a dunk or make a free throw, versus whatever his guy's doing on the perimeter, stepping out, making threes. And that's the cat and mouse game that has now entered that wasn't there, I would even say, 5 to 10 years ago.
It's probably preemptive, but what's the next trend then? Because obviously it was the 3.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's just like football, though.
Does it?
It's just like football. I mean, football has turned into a track meet.
Yeah.
And what have football teams done? The successful football teams done is, as soon as defenses navigated to nickel and dime packages, they went back to quarterback runs, running the football to be successful.
Right.
And it's tale as old as time. It's everything's cyclical.
Yeah.
Now, do I think that it will ever get back to what it was? No, but that's just because the rules of the game have changed. The NFL wants more offense. The NBA wants offense. The MLB, every professional sports team, sports organization wants offense. There's so many rules, so many but that's why it won't devolve.
You'll just
have an evolution of the 5 will actually be able to.
So what you're saying is there's always a cycle in sports, ebbs and flows. But from a league standpoint, they won't cycle back, probably, right? You're not going to see the NFL go, let's make it a little better, more advantageous to the defense.
Right.
My vote is yes. However, you're not going to see that.
It's never
You're going to see high scoring because it sells tickets, but fans, does it?
Yeah,
It does. I would say to the average, like one who just partakes in and watches
for
sports.
the regular season, yes.
Yeah.
For the postseason, no.
Are you in?
And
We'll
that's
dive
why
into
you
this in
see
off-season. Are you okay with different rules?
different
I mean, if they're not different rules, but they
different
are.
application of the rules.
There is
Interpretation is
there's more physicality in the playoffs across the board in every sport.
yeah.
There's less runs in MLB in the playoffs.
Yeah. And I mean I think
When cold weather
these professionals understand the regular season is there for entertainment. Yes, it's there for, I mean, you're going to have concerted effort, but you're not going to have,
Stay healthy, have fun.
you're not going to have pointed effort. You're going to have competitive effort, I should
Right.
say, I guess. Whereas postseason comes, it's winning time.
Yeah.
The money's like, I play the regular season to make a paycheck. I play the postseason to get my competitive rocks off.
Yeah.
I mean,
Basically,
you
yeah.
know, I mean, that's what it
Absolutely.
comes down to is, and that more and more, you know, with guys resting during the regular season, with all of these contracts, with all of these different, you know, clauses in there of things that you have to meet in order to make your bonuses and all of that. Like, that's just, like, that's the entertainment part of it. And now you get to the postseason, and, you know, that's the biggest difference in me as far as enjoyability of professional sports versus collegiate sports, which is what we're missing a little bit as NIL has been added into college sports, is that we're starting to see a little bit more of that
Same.
entertainment
Sameness.
attitude leak into college sports because of NIL.
Yeah. And we'll probably in college football only get more of that as the playoff expands.
Right.
Because more teams make it. All right. So, Twitter feed. We'll run through this thing. Cut to it. Nuclear Golf, by the way, if you're not following, great follow. Fantastic follow for all the news, etc. So here we go. This one, I read this one, and I don't know if I've sent one faster to you or not, because it just blew my mind that the fact that these words could come from this man's mouth. Okay? So here we go.
This is Sergio.
Yep, Sergio Garcia.
Yeah.
Blast Rory McIlroy for immaturity. This is the quote. No, let me back up. Hold on. Sergio Garcia blasts a player. Doesn't matter. But blasts Rory for immaturity.
Yep.
Immaturity.
Yep.
The quote. I think it is very sad. I think that we've done so many things together and had so many experiences that for him to throw that away just because I didn't decide, or I decided to go different tour, well, it doesn't seem very mature, lacking maturity. Really, I respect his choices, but it seems like he doesn't respect the ones I make. So, a one-way street. Okay. This goes off because reporter asked about Sergio and Liv and whatnot, and he said that, I deleted Sergio from my phone. I don't give a shit what he did.
Yeah.
Sergio is trying to put somebody on blast for being immature. If you were to name three golfers, one golfer, who is the most immature that you know on tour, who would it be? I'll give you top three because he's in there. I know another one that I would always throw in there.
I mean, the top three to me, and maybe I'm missing somebody, but Bryson, Reed,
And Sergio.
Sergio, and the other guy that I would throw in there would probably be Koepka.
Yeah, and I would put him fourth of those.
Right.
But those top three are the top three.
Yeah.
So your top three, and potentially, depending on the year, the top one is the one trying to call out somebody.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I will say that I think Rory has basically just taken a stance, and he's the mouthpiece for the PGA. And so there's something to be said about that. He's ultimately, I think, the mouthpiece for Tiger.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
In a lot of ways. And I think that this comes more from a place from Sergio. It's a little bit on the personal level, but this comes from a Ryder Cup mindset.
Yeah.
Sergio and Rory have played on a lot of different Ryder Cup teams. Sergio's known Rory for, I mean, they both were young superstars.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Rory's younger than Sergio, but to the thing that he is hurting or feeling is that Rory is basically turning his back on a Ryder Cup teammate. I don't think it comes necessarily from a live PGA perspective as much as
Ryder Cup.
Like, that's my teammate. You're turning your back on. So, like, he doesn't care that Rory and Patrick Reed don't get along.
Right.
Like, he could give two shits.
Right.
But ultimately, like, he's like, man, like, Rory will not talk to, look at, conversate with anyone who has gone to live. If you watch him in any interactions on the driving range or anything, it is nothing. It is consistent and it is nothing. And so, like, commendable.
Right.
Like, he's consistent. He's not, going one, well, I like that guy. I don't like, no. But that's where Sergio's coming from.
Okay. Flip it.
Mm-hmm.
Sergio, if you feel that way, wouldn't Rory feel the same way about you? Flipping to a different tournament?
Yeah, but I mean,
because at that point, though, it was not for certain, but it was said that they wouldn't be in the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
So, isn't that very similar to the same situation?
Yeah, I mean,
now Rory's doing it across the board, so that's actually like more about just his stance,
right?
But if you're going to call him out, you got to think about the fact that you're letting him down.
Yeah, but you got to remember who's leaving. All the old guard.
No, I get it from the big picture, but I'm trying to question Sergio.
Yeah, but Rory won't question that because
Rory don't give a shit.
He's got Rahm now. He's got Peters now. Well, Peters actually left. But I mean, a lot of the guys have actually left. But it'll be interesting Ryder Cup come September this year because a lot of the dominating faces of the European Ryder Cup team have now defected to live. Two of the biggest ones being Sergio and Poulter.
It's going to be a weird-ass locker room.
So you're going to have an awkward locker room in a lot of ways because a lot of the Hispanic guys that are really high ranked in the world have gone to live. Yeah. And so have a lot of the European guys.
But guess not on the U.S. side. And even the ones that are? Will the U.S. even?
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. has...
They don't have to pick those guys.
Well, and also
the depth.
They had... Yeah, I mean, they had 18 guys to make a 12-guy roster, and Europe just didn't have that luxury. It's kind of, President's Cup, same way. President's Cup, you have a bigger roster now to choose from technically than even... And that's why that, in my opinion, that will replace the Ryder Cup rivalry simply because of a numbers game. The President's Cup will actually overtake the Ryder Cup at some point in popularity.
But also because of LIV though, because there's going to be less of that awkwardness because of that too, right?
I mean, do you think eventually that the LIV guys will be able to play in those events? I think yes.
I believe yes, but I think it's right now it's very teetering.
Like not this year?
Not this year. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think maybe next year, but it depends on if all of a sudden people start defecting back. If that starts happening, what's the point? Zero chance. Why would they? Right? So like if and Koepka's the big one because of the series, which probably so. But if these guys start going, and they come back, what would be the point then for the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup to be like? Then at that point it's crumbling. So
I was actually surprised that they ever stepped in, and I don't know exactly what the
behind the scenes. There's a lot that
scenes looks like from that perspective, but. It just seemed like something that Ryder Cup, President's Cup needed to stay out of. Like, pick your guys. This is a completely different tournament. This is a team-based tournament. This is like, I don't care what tour you play on. I literally just want the best dudes from Europe and the best dudes from the United States to show up at whatever golf course they're going to show up at. And let's play some golf.
Which has always been that, by the way.
Yeah.
To live.
Like,
that's why I think there's just something out there we don't know.
Right.
Oh, and I say that because of how Rory or Tiger and Tiger's agent and how they're so steadfast. Like, there's got to be something that we all just don't know.
Right. Well, and my thing is that you look at it and it's like, look at the purses for this year's PGA events.
Clearly, it's helped.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Like, you can't be mad that the LIV happened.
No.
Because the LIV helped
you
push your tour to what it should be.
Helped you to do and tell what the tour to do.
Right. And so, like,
that's why there's got to be something else.
I'm not negative LIV. I don't like LIV from what they're doing. Like, I think they've completely screwed themselves from a structure perspective.
Oh yeah.
And like how they market themselves. But as far as like what they've done to grow the game, like they're going to help the PGA more than they're going to hurt the PGA, which is very funny.
Absolutely. They are.
Like,
right.
Just, I mean, you know, they came in to tear down the PGA, and all they're doing is building it up, as we'll see in our numbers that we look at here pretty quick. So
yeah. All right. Let's see. Don't need to really show all the violence, but we will go ahead and just show that initial clip. So, Alvin Kamara.
What is it with hotel lobbies?
Yeah, near the elevator.
Have you ever been in a hotel lobby when somebody just beat the shit out of somebody?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't think so.
I've been in quite a few hotel lobbies.
I don't think I've seen one,
by the way. But this is where this shit goes down.
Not saying that his career is done, but not saying that it's in good hands.
Well, I mean, it was already in question to begin with.
And as a Falcons fan, I am all okay with that. And this, you can't do that. Be smarter. Yeah. Don't do stupid shit. I don't understand these athletes and making very, very dumb decisions. I do, from a perspective of, I'm sure there's some mental health issues. I'm sure how they were raised, but bro.
I mean, I'm just putting all the connections together. These are running backs in hotel lobbies.
Running backs, hotel lobbies.
Running backs in their prime in hotel lobbies.
Gotta stop doing it. We gotta stop doing it.
Bro, there's cameras there.
Cameras. All right. No, this is not because I'm a Braves fan. This is not a Homer post. This is a rules post that I'm sure will get fixed before the regular season comes.
We're just skipping all over the place. We're into baseball now.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, we are.
Okay.
We're going to jump back to golf, too. I'm not trying to go in order. I'm going in order on Twitter.
That's all good.
A lot of these have just, they hit me and I have emotions. So I don't know if you guys.
Did you know the rules before we get into this? Did you know what the rules were before you started watching the highlights on like day one?
I knew that there was a new
pitch clock.
Pitch clock. I did not know the nuances of the batter clock
or the pitch clock
because they're the same. I didn't.
They're all integrated.
I thought it was legitimately you have 11 seconds or whatever. I don't. 15 seconds to throw the ball. Right. I was like, sweet, that makes sense. However, comes out to find the fact of
there's a batter clock.
The batter clock.
Well, you had to have a batter clock.
And there's a batter clock because of a time clock.
You can't put the pitcher on the clock if the batter's not in the batter's.
Correct. But like, I'm just like, what is going on?
I did the same thing you did because I was like, there's an 8-second batter clock.
There 8-second batter clock.
And a 15-second.
15 second.
I think it's 15 second.
Yeah. This just had 11 seconds. It's 11.
There was 11 left. Yeah.
15-second pitch clock, 8-second batter clock.
Yep.
All right. So
Which
this is
from when? Do you know?
What?
I'm sorry. I'm asking questions that I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
Is that from receipt of the ball from the catcher?
For the 15?
Or I assume the 15 starts, and then at 7 seconds the batter has to be ready, so that the pitcher.
8 seconds.
Well, no, it'd be 15, 8 seconds down to 7.
Yeah.
So like the clock would show 7.
Right.
I don't know what they're seeing is the problem. Like, are they only seeing one clock, or are they seeing a batter clock?
Right now,
and
there is, and this picture doesn't do it justice.
Right.
They have a giant clock to the left.
Right, for the pitcher.
I don't know what the batter's seeing.
I assume they have something in the outfield over the fence that says that counts down from 8.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Okay. Once the catcher or the pitcher catches the ball.
I don't know. I think it's when he takes place. I don't know that.
Okay.
nuance. But I do know that he's got to be in the batter's box.
Right. And ready to receive the pitch.
And apparently eyes up is the thing. Yeah, eyes up. And so what happens? Okay, we're bottom 9. Red Sox, Braves.
Bases loaded.
Bases loaded. Full count. Full count. 2 outs. And this is the scenario, right? I think he had stepped out of the box, but he's in the box. He is deemed the ump deemed him not ready.
Correct.
Okay.
Which, I mean, he wasn't.
No. He I mean, hold on. I'm gonna go back to the rule with the eyes. His eyes are up. So
also,
I'll get there. I want to get there. So they call him strike 3, game over. Everyone's confused as shit.
Well,
everybody.
At first, he actually runs down to first.
He runs down first because it's the other way.
Has done something wrong.
Well, he's thinking the clock for the pitcher because then it's a ball, right? So he's taking first base, game over.
Right.
Okay. So that's what's going on right now. Okay. Literally, he's standing in the box. His eyes are up. He might not be in the best batting position, but why would you be if the catcher is standing in the other box, straight up looking down the line?
Yeah, he's looking at his wristband to call the pitch.
Oh, my bad.
But
irrelevant. He's not set and ready.
He's not in the catcher's box or ready to go.
So now we have to have a catcher's tie. If this thing continues, which I don't think, I think they'll figure this out because this doesn't make sense. We have a pitcher ready, a batter. I mean, as a batter, you're technically ready. As soon as the pitcher would go back, he would just put his bat up. If you're in the box, you're going to be ready with your eyes up.
I just don't understand.
The catcher couldn't receive anything right now.
I mean, he could. He's standing there. Like, if the guy starts his windup, he's going to catch it.
Yeah, but like, as a batter.
No, I agree.
He's not ready.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying.
How's the umps in here going?
I don't know why there's a batter's clock.
I don't know why there's a batter's clock.
Because here's what you do. You get rid of the batter's clock. You tell the pitcher he's got 15 seconds.
Pitch whenever.
Whenever the hell he's ready. Yeah. I don't give a shit if you're standing in there.
I'm throwing it.
You know what your ass is going to do as a batter? Get in the damn box.
Right.
We can eliminate that.
But I think that's why they did the batters, because they give them time to get set.
Right.
And so then from there, the pitcher can go. Because otherwise,
get your ass in there. Let's go.
Otherwise, if you start the clock at 0, he has 15 seconds to throw.
Right.
While he's walking up, I can throw a strike.
But the thing is with the catcher's irrelevant. I know it looks bad, but the catcher's irrelevant because if that catcher isn't ready at 15, it's on the pitcher. Like, that's what the pitcher clock is covering.
I think you have to say, when you say pitcher clock, those two are in tandem.
Oh yeah, it's the battery clock.
It's the battery clock. Uh-huh. The batter, the pitcher, and the catcher need to be in position.
Right.
And so this one
clocks all over the place.
This one got me. But then I see, and I don't know what pitcher it was. He's like, I actually like this because it's to the advantage of the pitcher who isn't set into the routine. Batters have more routine and more nuances to how they do their thing than a pitcher.
So I will agree.
Except for closers.
Relief pitchers are going to be uncomfortable.
Correct.
And I would even lean to your point, to closers. Closers especially.
They have a whole...
When the game's on the line. Right. Because they're coming in to literally close a game, to literally win or lose a game. So that's, the putt on the 17th and 18th hole on a Sunday. But
also that rule shouldn't be for them. Could you imagine coming down the 18th and they're already on the clock because of earlier on?
Well, you mean like they were this week?
Oh, I didn't know that. That's funny. But
they like 2.5 holes behind.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. But the two guys they were playing together
to win.
So you're gonna
you can't knock them.
Well, I mean you can, but you're gonna knock them the same.
Right. So
it doesn't like you can knock them all the strokes you want. They're not gonna make it. Like there was enough of a gap that it wasn't gonna matter.
But I don't think that should be for the closers unless they're being egregious. But most closers aren't. They have a routine.
Right.
It's an intense moment. Mm-hmm. Batters don't really mess with closers either, though.
No.
Like it's typically not one of those things where I'm stepping out of the box 4 times. But this one was ridiculous. I can't wait till that change. I apologize to everybody.
It'll take some getting used to.
Oh, back to golf. Do you see this lineup? This field was.
Yeah, so this was just on a Monday.
It was exponentially better. Come on. Oh, back up. Like, look at. I'm gonna give you guys time just to look at the tee times here, and just look at some of the players. I don't even have to point them out for you. Just look, like take your time. It's fine. You know, let me get to sheet 2.
I don't think sheet 1 was very good.
It's not as good, but I mean, you just look at this side. Just
I mean, there you go. Now you're starting to get to some names there on page 2. Page 1 didn't have a lot of names on it.
No. I mean,
You didn't have to have a lot of names in order to compete with the.
You had,
but like a lot of some of these guys played this weekend.
They did. Futures are here.
Yeah, Horschel.
But Lowry. What Lowry?
I mean, JT ended up winning.
Lowry flew out.
Yeah.
Like this meant more.
Finished T5.
Because he came out. Went
and played at the Seminole on
at 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I didn't even look at the details.
Oh yeah.
Yes, this lineup way
and
better
Horschel
than
played at 7:30.
This was better than the Honda and the Liv combined.
Oh, absolutely.
Like without just this page.
And basically, it's just a big pro-am.
But it is.
You see Tom Brady on there.
Hilarious.
You see, he played with Finau.
Hilarious. I just loved that.
But yeah, JT ended up winning that tournament.
I loved it. Did he?
Yep.
Well, I mean,
JT and his partner.
Legitimately his home course.
Right. No,
so he
shouldn't
have lost.
Yeah. Shot 63. It's just a one day.
It's a little fun.
But it is handicapped. He didn't win the handicap portion. They won the
side bets on that thing. Oh, I loved it. Netflix, you should have been there.
They probably were.
That's true. The side bets on that one, I bet were.
That'd been a fun one to be at though, just because it was a one dayer.
I bet that was pretty aggressive.
I don't know that there were.
So checking in on Liv.
Speaking of tickets,
just checking in on Liv in an afternoon programming of CW.
On the CW. Is this Seventh Heaven? I think I used to watch that show on CW.
Just saying. Just throw that one in there.
Yeah. So they're having fun at Liv.
Yeah, Liv's in there.
Nobody that's there, not there, is not or nobody. Yeah, nobody that's not there is not watching. But
we won't stick on that one long. But
yeah.
Hello.
Yikes.
All right. From you, a roughing a passer from a quarterback? No way.
Yeah. I mean, I've always the side I've been on this.
I know, but this was a good one.
So Field Yates,
also
replying to Mark Maskey. One NFL team has proposed making roughing the passer reviewable by instant replay. Competition committee expects to review the proposal yesterday. I didn't see anything else in follow-up to that.
Make the news yet.
Field Yates kind of feels like we do about that as far as it shouldn't have a major impact on the game. There's very obvious non-calls or recalls. My very brief and distinct opinion on this is if we're buzzing down like we are now,
the booth just needs to buzz down and tell you to pick up the flag. We move on with the game. Should not zero factor to the game. This is
not a walk to the sideline ever. Like if you ever have to walk to the sideline to review it, then it stands as called. But they just need to conference down, say pick up the flag. Sorry, there's no flag for roughing the passer on the play. Everybody forgets about it. You move on.
Us as
the
fans
NFL never announced that though. Like when they were, we talked about it a ton during the postseason. They
just did it.
They just started doing it, and then we had the chip in the ball. We had all of those things.
Was it?
They didn't
was
really.
It week 8, was it week 18 though that they started?
Maybe.
I feel like it wasn't the playoffs yet, and they just did it, and we were like, "Timeout."
Yeah.
All season you didn't? Did you do it all season? Did we forget something?
Right. No,
you just wanted to mention it now?
Yeah. I don't know what the answer to that is, but the fact that it was never it was never a point of discussion.
No, but it is now. Apparently, it is a thing.
And as it should be. Like that's just flow of the game. Like you have these. You're paying those guys how much money?
Couple mil.
And like we as fans absolutely get the best views, the slow-mos. Like we are refs in our living rooms because of the shots that we get from technology, from the overhead, from this. We get 6 different angles. The ref that threw the flag got one angle.
Yeah.
So it's not fair to the refs. Completely agree.
No. So but put refs in the damn booth who knows the rules and sees what we see.
And that's what they have. So just get it done and get it done right. Like don't make it a big deal.
And then he goes, buzz.
Yep.
Pick up the flag.
Yep. Just missed that one. Pick up, move it on.
Cool.
Buzz, flag will be picked up, first down. Now,
Game over.
Like-
Or not game over. Move on.
yeah, and pace play stays the same. Like, that's all.
We would be more upset probably because the announcers wouldn't get the information immediately.
Right.
So we'd be like, well, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
But then like we would get it from Blandino or
And you
somebody
just
and
get
be
used
like,
to it.
they
It's
just picked up. Okay, cool.
like, let's keep the flow of the game going. So,
Absolutely. Oh man, sticking to football. I have this. Let me make sure we got sound
Quarterbacks are different.
Yeah.
We want mother, father, dual parent. We want that kid to be 3, 5 and up because he got to be smart. Not bad decisions off the field at all because he has to be a leader of men. It's so many different attributes in what we look for. Physical, offensive lineman. Defensive lineman is totally opposite.
What do you mean?
Single mama. Trying to get it. He's on free lunch. I'm talking about just trying to make it. He trying to rescue mama. Like,
So this one hits so many different feelings for me, like left, right, up, down, uppercut, all over the place. My initial listening to it and gut reaction was like, duh. Now, for those that are just listening, this was Dion talking about how he recruits. And essentially, I'm gonna summarize because you can listen later. Offensive guys, he wants to come from a 2-parent home, solid structure, make 3.2 GPA, I think was the O lineman, and above, across the board for offensive guys. Defensive guys, he wants dogs. I don't care about it. Single parent home, hard worker, don't care about your GPA, just I need dogs. Now, when I first heard that, I was like, yeah, right, let's go defense. And then I got to thinking more about it. I came from a single parent home. Obviously, I ended up being a defensive guy, but I was a fullback. Like I loved that position more than I did linebacker until I was only playing linebacker.
yeah.
I got to thinking about it from a perspective of households.
Yeah.
There is so many black boys at that point that don't have fathers. That Dion knows this. That could not play offense. There's outlet. This is not. He's not only picking this.
Right.
He prefers. Okay, this is what he's saying.
I mean, it came out of his mouth.
Literally. The fact that they can't go play offense for him.
Right.
The fact that now
Or the fact that if you're on the fence,
I better go play defense.
well, and if Dion's on the fence between,
Right. You and you.
you're both 4 stars, you're both 3 stars, you're both 5 stars. I mean, we know where.
Right.
I mean, he has come out with his bias.
And I applaud him for that. I applauded him for his directness and all of that. But then I started really diving into it and like how bad of a message it could be in where we're at currently in our American society. Does it make a black man who has a child more apt to stay in the home? No factor. Doesn't matter. Does it put more mental strain and issues and trauma on a black kid whose father left him? Yes. Because you're narrowing his pool of success even more.
Yeah.
And that's what Chris Williamson is basically saying. That's what a lot of black athletes were saying is you were making it harder. You just made it harder.
Right.
For the majority of us, majority is probably aggressive, I don't know the numbers,
Right.
to be successful because now other college coaches are going to look at this. This is going to be the new norm. Not, it won't be, but like
All right.
it's going to be geared towards that. And this is now public because of you.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I didn't understand the benefit. Just looking at it from a global perspective, I didn't understand the benefit of Dion, one, saying it, but two, like, it was a very casual conversation.
Eisen's
Eisen's laughing.
which
I mean, so like the whole, like, for the whole conversation to come up casually into very pointed, like, recruiting verticals, for lack of a better name, is just like, first of all, like, why are you sharing any of your recruiting tactics, procedures, whatever? And then second of all, like, why are you going into
that detail?
The detail.
So detailed.
Like, I mean, put me in there.
Right.
Whitest white dude coaching. If I say that, I don't have a job.
No, you're done. You were done.
Again, part of the problem in our society.
Mm-hmm.
We're okay with it coming from Dion. We're not okay with it coming from Saban, when ultimately it's having probably a bigger impact. And you can speak to this way more than I can, but you tell me if Saban was sitting there and said the exact same thing, or if Dion said it, which one has a bigger impact on the black community?
Dion, I'm going to play defense. Like, I'm only focused on defense.
Right, but if Saban says it, he gets beat up. From,
and he gets absolutely
from a racial perspective
railroaded. Like, absolutely.
And I mean, maybe not fired because he's Nick Saban, but absolutely railroaded. Absolutely put on complete.
This is everywhere. Like, so far.
But that's the media, that's social media, that's the outlash, that's all of those things. And warranted, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
My point is that this didn't really get, I mean, yeah, it got put out there, but it didn't get put on blast.
No.
And his words have a bigger impact on that kid that's going to be affected than Saban's words would, in my opinion. I think a black man saying this has a bigger impact on the black community than if a white man said it, regardless, across the board. And then when you put it, it's freaking prime time. Like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? What, like, you just came from,
right? I like, from a
historically black college.
Like, you just came
from there.
So and
that's what your mindset was while you were there. Like, maybe that's why they wanted to get rid of your ass.
Right. I didn't watch the whole thing.
No, but.
And I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt at all from like a contextual standpoint, because this is not bad. You should know this. And he knows this. He's a marketer. Is he playing a game? Maybe.
Right.
But I believe you cannot say that as a black man in his position with his power, because you do more harm than good, in my opinion.
Right. Like, and I'm not saying that if Dion wants to look at his board that way,
cool, don't say it.
Fine. And like,
first of all, it's trade secrets, in my opinion.
Understand that the way that recruiting happens these days, you're a lot closer to those kids than whether or not they got one or two parents in the house.
Right.
I mean, we've been in the house. We understand what that family life is like. These coaches know.
You know them.
Right.
Now with social media,
or their recruiting position knows them.
You know them.
So like, hey, one family house, really solid family. This dude, like, whatever. Mm-hmm. But the fact that we're just going to come out and like, boom, this is what we're doing,
and not say what you just said.
3.2, dude, and it's like,
also like,
what are we doing?
Even 3.2 for O-line, but 3.5 for position players.
Like, what? Not to mention, like 3.2 and 3.5 at every high school in America are completely different depending on what that curriculum looks like.
So different.
And I'm talking, you look at Des Moines, Iowa, 10 miles apart, what a 3.5 looks like at East High School in Des Moines and Southeast Polk High School in Runnels, Iowa, that are literally basically off of University Avenue, less than 10, 12 miles apart, looks completely different. And I know that because we played with Scotty Fadevong, who graduated as valedictorian from East High School. Scotty, brilliant dude, went to the Air Force, came back to Drake, no problems getting into school. But Scotty will tell you what high school life was like at East versus what high school life was like at Southeast Polk versus what it's like in Waukee,
right? Versus
what it's like in Valley. Like that's within a metro area where you can drive to any of those places in 25 minutes. That's not nationwide. I mean, I know the socioeconomic impacts just of that.
I know.
Let alone what Dion's dealing with on a daily basis. Like, come on, man.
And he's literally, this is literally like, so at this point, college recruiting is worldwide. So we're talking about this impacts the world. Now, more nationally, but like, you're talking about a small footprint. I definitely lost.
It was tone deaf to me.
I definitely lost respect for Dion on this, and I love the shit out of Dion.
I mean, I think he does a lot of really good things.
Obviously, a Falcons guy. Like I know that, but like this one,
it's baffling to me.
That one hurts, man. I don't grasp it.
I don't understand the point of, like, in his mind, like, what Dion is, like, to your point, Dion is a marketer. Like, that guy,
he knows what he's doing.
I mean, he is set out. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it, regardless of where he's going.
He did this on purpose.
But why?
Obviously, part of it, obviously, for views. Clearly, to some extent. He knew this was getting attention. Anytime he speaks, gets attention.
I mean, he's on a very popular...
But, like why that?
Right.
Why that?
He's on with the dude that runs the broadcasting at the NFL Network. So it's like, he didn't need the views. Like,
I know.
Whoever was on.
But
like,
I'm saying
you and I could have been on there and been famous because we were talking to Rich Eisen, for shit's sake.
But that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Like, it's not for that, but that's like the only thing what else is there?
I mean, if he wanted to drop that, then just have your son run the video camera and just talk to it and drop it on YouTube or whatever the hell you want to drop it. Like, put it on a TikTok. No. Like,
yeah, I don't know. And media should have blasted this, because if a white man would have done this, it would have been everywhere. And this comes back, and I'm not going to dive into it deep, but black on black crime is not highlighted as much as black on white or white on black.
Oh, I mean,
and that's the same thing with this.
Right.
It should be blasted just as much, because this is more impactful.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, if Kirk Ferentz came out and said that, dude wouldn't have a job.
At Iowa, he wouldn't have a job.
Huh.
Which is saying a lot, because they don't fire Ferentzes for shit.
Right.
For shit. All right. Well, let's get back into golf as we wind this up and dive even deeper into the Arnie Palmer, which is a delicious drink. Add a little vodka, even better.
You mean the daily?
Yes, the daily. Back to nuclear golf, by the way. Okay, so Liv's job is trying to take over and dominate the PGA, blah, blah, blah. It's documented. That's what they want to do, right? They also have changed how and this goes actually more to your point of the marketing and everything. Yeah. But the whole purpose is like, bigger draw, etc.
Yeah.
And now their focus on what they've said has always been the United States. They've obviously have a draw global. So we're not going to count that out. We're only focused on the United States right now. And yes, we're Americans. So America. The other point of it is the fact that they, have basically their own viewership, right? They're trying to really focus that on the U.S. So here's the stats. Official ratings are in. This is the U.S. viewership for Live on CW and Honda on NBC. People can make an argument about, again, the international audiences and streaming numbers, but we all know the U.S. is the biggest market, and it's why Live is flaunted being in 120 plus million homes on U.S. TV. Okay? So let's go ahead and make this a little bigger. Well, or the exact opposite. Okay? Let's make that way smaller. How do you zoom?
Let's make it smaller, but then we can see more.
Yeah. So for you watching, you'll be able to see this when I cut it up. That being said, so let's start with the lowest viewership. Mm-hmm. Lowest viewership was on the CW, Live Golf on Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, CW Live Golf on Sunday. Okay. Then we've got all 4 days on the PGA Tour network. Mm-hmm. Okay. Part of it, we were just comparing NBC to CW.
Yep.
But we got to throw in the golf in between.
It's the golf channel.
In between the golf channel. So the golf channel makes up everything between what's going to happen with NBC and Live Golf. Okay. Yep. And so CW and the Golf Channel, reasonably the same numbers. I think it goes from like 296 to, I can't see that.
831.
831.
Yep.
Okay. We're within a range. Okay. Then I'm going to get out so I can actually read the numbers to you.
631. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah. 286 to 631. So we have that's a reasonably smallish gap.
Yeah, right.
Okay. The top two.
Neither one are great.
NBC, Saturday, 1,610. So 1,000 more than the Golf Channel and 1,400 more than Live did tops. Okay. It's fine. That's a big number.
Yeah.
Then we get to Sunday NBC at damn near 2,400.
Yeah. 10x them, pretty much.
Damn near 10x them.
Yeah.
10x them. That's a new.
And this is one of the bottom
Probably will be the lowest numbers in golf.
this year.
Debatably the lowest this year.
And this was the first Live tournament of the year, specifically put on this weekend, so they did not compete with
any of the big tournaments.
I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. I don't have to say anything.
Just want everyone to know what the numbers were.
Yeah.
That's all that was.
The numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie. All right, here we are. We're back.
Yeah.
Back to golf, right? Wow. Back to golf. And all the emails. Because it phone vibrated. I thought it was because of that. But
Off to the Arnie.
Arnie Palmer. Man, yeah. We're good. I love this course. I love playing indoors. I think we should go do that on Friday, but whatever's.
Arnold Palmer Invitational.
All right. Let's roll out. Wow. The amount of.
At Bay Hill. Defending champion, Scotty Scheffler. You're going to hear that a lot this year, I think.
Put that one on repeat.
Yeah.
Ooh, I need to go to DraftKings.
So you're looking at, I'll jump in here and do a quick weather breakdown. Thursday through Sunday in Orlando, the first weekend in March. Thursday is 89 degrees, 5 to 10 mile an hour wind, and sunny. My only assumption is maybe a bit humid, but enjoyable weather on Thursday. Friday, the wind's going to pick up a little bit. We've got 91 for a high on Friday, but the wind mid-morning through early afternoon is going to pick up to 15 to 20. So right on the cusp of having a little bit of impact there, just depending. Saturday, there's a 40 to 50% chance of rain mid to late afternoon. 20% chance of rain the rest of the day.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
kind of a Florida rain type of thing. So you might get enough to postpone a little bit, but I don't think you're getting enough to move the tournament days or anything like that. It doesn't seem. Winds really aren't too big of a factor that day either. So, maybe in that same 10 to 15, maybe up to 20 gusts type of thing. So I don't see anything crazy there. And then Sunday is supposed to be pretty much perfect, 83 after the cooling rain comes in, 5 to 10 miles an hour.
What a great finish.
So yeah, perfect conditions, soft course for finish. Expect low scores on Sunday. So it might be up for some surprise there, just because there's going to be, I feel like, low numbers out there come Sunday morning. So,
and from a field perspective,
yeah.
So we talked about, you saw the field earlier,
yeah,
right on our Twitter. Just all of them are playing. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Like this is, you got Rahm, Scheffler, Rory, Schauffele, Finau, Cantlay, Morikawa, Zalatoris, Homa, Hovland, JT, Hatton, Day, M, Fitzpatrick, Young, Tom Kim, Keith Mitchell, Jordan Spieth, Hideki Matsuyama, Shane Lowry, and I just went through like the top 20.
Right.
Like That's where we stand.
Yeah.
Ladies and gents, this is a really good field. And as it should be, as we gear up for the players.
Yeah.
So good to see. Good to see there. And what I would like to know, at least on DraftKings, and I can pull up FanDuel if you are busy. Let's see if I can run both at the same time without effing something up. I need PJ. Please and thank you. They're both sitting at the same. There's a sizable gap from an odds perspective of the top three to the rest of the field. Rahm, Scheffler, and Rory, I think they flip a little bit. They go from 650 to 900 plus 900. Then it's Schauffele, Finau, Cantley at plus 2,000.
And you've got DraftKings, right?
And I was actually talking about both of them because I looked it up. But
right,
that's a gap. Let's get big gap.
Yeah, I mean
that's a big gap,
especially for what we're used to seeing within. I mean, that's a loaded.
Yeah.
Top 15 even.
That's a gap.
And it's funny because the gap between third and fourth is as big as the gap between fourth and like 14.
Like the rest.
Yeah. I mean, you go from Homa and Zalatoris at plus 2,000, like Hovland and Day are plus 3,100, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys. And
it's all over the map because Zalatoris and Homa are plus 2,200, and there's Schauffele, Finau, Cantlay, and Morcaro above them at 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's gaps here. There's value here.
Definitely difference in sites as well this week again.
Yeah.
Get some value out there if you like a certain guy.
Throw it out there though. JT did win on Monday.
He did.
Just saying, in Florida.
So picks should be interesting this week just because we have the guys. Mm-hmm. We've made the shift, if you will, from West Coast to Florida.
Mm-hmm. The Florida swag.
We've talked about this before. There are guys that play in Arizona, and there are guys that play in Florida in the off season. And those are, California, Arizona, and Florida are like those are our three main areas that we're playing golf in the United States.
Absolutely.
Relatively speaking, year round, or as these guys are playing, that's where their members at, anything like that. That makes a difference.
It does. You're not wrong.
This is, home field advantage for some guys, and other guys, it's, they're coming.
It's uncomfortable.
Coming in hot, but not necessarily on their what would be their home courses. So a lot to take in from that perspective. I would say the hottest guys in the world are actually typically West Coast players right now. When you look at Homa, Rahm, Scheffler's kind of a mix. He's won on both sides last year, so he is from Texas, so that kind of makes sense. He kind of probably just does whatever. But if you're looking at Colin, JT's going to be more of a Florida guy. Finau's going to be more of an Arizona guy. Jason Day going to be more of a Florida guy. I think Hovland's a Florida guy. Homa, more of a West Coast guy. McIlroy, more of a Florida guy.
Yep.
So there's a lot to it. Do you ride the hot hand? Do you ride the home course? Do you do a little bit of both?
I think a little bit of both.
Probably sprinkle here, sprinkle there. But any big thoughts going into this weekend as far as, in your mind, one of the big guys is taking this down?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You're picking one and done. You better go top. You can go top 7, but one of them is knocking this thing down.
Okay.
I don't see. Guys, it's a deep field. But I don't see it coming from someone else. Okay. Not a chance. Not in Florida. Not with the way they're playing. Man, there's good value, but I don't see it. I just don't see it. You better pick top 7 to ride. Chalk away this week. Chalk away. That's why.
There's a lot. That's the thing this week is there's just a ton of chalk.
There's so much chalk. Top 40 will be easy. Player to fade's gonna be a little tough. dark horse, I'm relatively easy not to win, but like they're going to play well. I mean, you got a lot of value this week. Picking the winner is actually probably I think is the hardest pick.
Yeah.
It always is. Let's be real.
I mean, right.
But like this one, this is tough, and I'm actually going more of an emotional pick when I pick.
Oh, not you.
Yeah, right. When I
never go with the gut.
When I pick my outright, I'm still stuck on my one and done, but the rest, man, you got value.
Yeah.
You got value. So let's start at the bottom. Player to fade. Probably one of the hardest picks, actually. I would probably actually singly put this is gonna be a tough one.
Yeah.
But I'll start it off.
Okay.
I'm going exactly what you just said with the whole Phoenix West Coast, East Coast.
Yeah.
Florida swing. And I'm gonna go. Sadly, I'm gonna go with our boy Finau. First tournament in Florida, he's just not gonna have it.
Okay.
He's a Phoenix guy. That's what happens.
Right
Plus
now,
I got him at +2.
you got him plus 2,000. But where's he at in your order? Because that's gonna matter this week.
1, 2, 3. He's T3.
See, and I've got him at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I will take the T3.
Interesting.
Very interesting. To be fair, there's 4 tied at 3.
He's at plus 2,600 all alone.
Wow.
He stops the top 10 on FanDuel.
Wow.
So,
by the way, I think DraftKings and FanDuel, and I'll probably say this a lot, they need a fade one like we do.
yeah,
They need a fade one.
right.
But anyways, wow, I will take that at T3.
So yeah, wow.
But I like him inside the top 15. Is that bad?
No, I mean, I think
feel
that's
like
just
if he
a
misses,
good
he
chance
misses,
to take both sides, honestly, like,
Really?
and a little bit from that perspective.
And for me, he'll end up at like 9.
Yeah.
And I don't win.
So, what is Homa on your side?
You you don't know that until after.
No, that's just not.
That's exactly how that works.
That's not how that works. I just don't. I mean, I'm not betting against Rom.
No. Can you bet against Rory and Arnie?
I mean, I don't.
The one tournament like he really wants to win outside of a
looking at
major?
10 guys, and the guys that I would bet against would be
reigning champ Scheffler.
Would be either Colin or Homa, because they're more West Coast guys.
Yeah.
Which one is 4th and one is T4 and the other one is technically 2,100. So he would be 6th alone or 5th. You know, if you're doing T4, you got one.
Oh,
you got 2 at T2, 2 at T4, and he would be 6th, I guess. Who do I think has a... I'm going to fade Homa.
all right.
Oh, I hate doing that. That makes me physically ill.
He's a T4. To be fair, Markov was T3. One of the 100 at T3. So that one's tough.
Yeah, because Morikawa is 2,100 here, and Homa's 2,000.
Home was 22. Markov was 2.
2. Yeah, so.
But
All right, Homa and Finau.
one's
2 of our favorite golfers.
yeah, I know it's a suck.
You know, like it'll be like I won't root against these guys this weekend.
No,
but
not at all.
But yeah.
But I could see it.
Yeah.
Could see it.
So they could also possibly win and be a double shitty shot. So
Oh, wouldn't that be a
something. All right, top 40.
Yep. Let's go top 40. Man, I like some around here. That one just jumped right at me. But how do you not take a Florida kid in the top 40?
I mean, I don't know. How don't you?
I mean, so let me ride with Billy Horschel.
Oh, you son of
I had to get in there quick.
got me this
As soon
week.
as I said that, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like that pick. He played particularly well last week, but Arnie,
Played good 2 rounds, played terrible 2 rounds, and kind of finished.
Meh. Give me some Billy.
So let's see. Billy is
Plus 125.
Plus 125.
Ooh, I got the same odds.
No. Excuse me.
Oh. I'll take 45.
You can get him at plus 145.
Wow. Wow.
I am going to ride
Bo.
No.
Sam Ryder.
No. I think I like either. I think I'm going to go with Gary Woodland. Guy's been playing good golf.
Gary?
Gary. Plus 115.
Plus 1 hundo.
For Gary, the other guy I was looking at there was Taylor Montgomery. He's played good solid golf this year. So,
yeah, that's fair.
Dark horse, I'm going with Ricky.
These things get aggressive fast.
I had to hurry up and get that. He's 5,500 for me.
What the hell is Ricky? Where'd he go? Yeah, he's 5,500. You know what? Because give me Sam Burns, 55. I mean, why wouldn't I? Someone's got to. I mean, but there's good value here. You got Matsuyama, 5, Lowry, King Bradley, Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood, Connor, Stigala, Woodland.
I mean,
Kirk.
you can get Tom Kim.
Good Lord.
And Keith Mitchell, both at 5. The rest of those guys are under 5 for me. So Burns is 4,800.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So you're.
Oh, yeah, no.
Spieth, where's Spieth at?
Keith Mitchell and them are above.
Spieth's at 4,100. For me.
45.
Yeah. So, I mean, decent value there on a guy that plays in Florida a lot. It's a really good golfer. Outright winner. And go with Rory.
Yep.
We're mirroring.
That was mine. You know what? I'll move him to outright. Or it's a one and done.
One and done. Yeah, you ready to use him?
No, I don't want to go back to outright.
Okay.
I just didn't want to be with you, but I have to at that one.
I mean, I'm not going with him in one and done this week, so
I love me some Rory outright. I really do. I think it's too early for a one and done.
Yeah.
But Rory wants this tournament.
Yeah.
Like beyond his ability in playing in Florida, he wants to win for Arnie. That says something to me.
Yeah, that's great.
Now the one and done, there's a lot of value.
Yeah. I've got 3 in my mind that I'm looking at this week.
Do you?
Yeah. I know who I'm going to pick.
Mm.
Do you want to go first in this one since I
No, go ahead. You know.
I'm going to go with Zalatoris.
Okay.
And I will wait to make further comments. He is plus 2,200 on your side?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. I'll wait to make further comments on my other 2 I was considering until you pick, just so that I don't
That's fair.
pull a stoy.
That's fair. It worked out well.
Right.
I want to go with Homa, just so we can have some fun with it. I wouldn't want to put Homa in my one and done here. That's the problem.
Yep.
And I really, I love some JT. I love some value here. Playing in Florida, but I'm gonna ride with Morikawa actually.
Oh, all right.
A little early for him, but he wins early. I don't trust him much more later in the majors with the star power that's playing well. Okay. And so I will take Morikawa at plus 2,000.
I'll give you plus 2,100 even. If you want.
Get it. What are your
So my other 2 that I was looking at, this is a huge tournament for Jason Day as well.
Agreed.
And so he's been playing well, and this is one, like, I don't think, the reason I'm not going with him is I don't think that he's quite there yet in his value in my mind. He's plus 3,100 on my end. I don't know what you're seeing. Like, you have to prove it. And at plus 3,100.
In this field?
In this field, like, if you do, great. Like, then you're there.
I can use them for this week.
Right.
Or this year.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so we'll see.
Yeah.
The other guy I was looking at is Cantlay. It's a traditional tournament. The guy plays well.
He does.
A traditional type of tournaments. But there's a lot. There's a lot to go around. I think Hovland's going to play well here. JT's going to play well here. Never going to count out Xander anywhere.
Obviously, Scheffler and Rahm.
You look at Scheffler and Rahm, and you're just betting against money that you shouldn't bet against with either one of those two. And honestly, Homa, we talked about, I'm fading him. Mm-hmm. The main reason I'm fading him is completely personal from a standpoint of this will be the first time, I say first time, this year that he has to be away from family, and he's got a young child, where he'll be flying across the country to play in Florida. Again, he's playing golf, so could be worse, but I assume his family probably isn't going with him. There might be some fate there. That's what I've got for why to fade a guy at this point in that group.
I agree. I like I said, I wanted to pick Homa, but there's just that uncertainty of that swing of moving.
And Finau's, it's the same type of thing.
But it's only for me. It's only a week.
Yeah,
it's a routine thing. Mm-hmm. They'll be fine.
Oh yeah,
after
right.
It's
this is a big event.
It's a big one.
Arnie is arguably the most popular golfer, sans Tiger Woods, to ever play the game. Yes, Jack and many others are more decorated, but Arnie was a player's player. Mm-hmm. And this event always shows that. Everything around it is
players want to play here.
They're playing for Arnold Palmer. I'm assuming Ryan Palmer will be playing in this tournament, his grandson. But he hasn't played well this year.
No.
You look at him as a dark horse and stuff like that. It's just his game just hasn't been in form. Not to say that it can't be, but Fowler's game has been, and Fowler was pretty much
love some Fowler right now.
Fowler and Day were Arnie disciples.
Yeah.
So that's kind of bringing that back. But Scheffler repeating, not a surprise. Rahm finding a way to fumble his way around the course and be the best in the world, not a surprise. Not out of the question.
No, not at all.
The dude hasn't played his best golf and has made himself the number one golfer in the world. Last year,
a couple times,
Scotty Scheffler won his way to number one somehow, by playing the best golf he's ever played in his life. Rahm has not played the best golf in his life.
He's warming up for the season.
And
figuring things
that's
out.
my question with Rahm though, is it going to be a consistent struggle for him all throughout the year, and he's just that good all throughout, and at some point, if you continue to do that, you're probably going to put yourself in a position where that pressure and just putting yourself in bad situations
fails
because you're playing against the best guys in the world, or are we just sharpening?
I think he's just
you know what I mean.
Right now, you can't go either way.
You can't argue.
So you're just going to be you know what? I think he's sharpening. It's still early in the season.
He's made himself into world number one and not played his best golf. No one else has.
Let's get through the players. Give me a major and
So
let's see where he plays at.
That's where we're at. But quick review there. You've got Morikawa one and done. I've got Zalatoris. We both have Rory as an outright winner. Sam Burns and Ricky Fowler as our Black Stallions, both at plus 5,500. And top 40, you're going with hometown kid Billy Horschel, and I am going with Gary Woodland. And players to fade, Tony Finau for you, T3 projected, and Homa T4 projected. So
I really don't feel good about those.
No, you just look at look at all the names.
Yeah,
those are
names,
household names
across the board.
Yeah. So fun weekend.
Be a fun one. It's gonna be a fun one. Obviously gonna be watching this week. Be putting in my living room while I watch this one because it's time to warm up. I did chip a little around in the backyard this weekend.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sure that gave you a real feel for the golf course.
You should see the rough in my backyard right now. Yeah, so it did.
It's not that thick on the course, I can tell you that. It's still matted down.
It's still matted.
There was really no rough on the course at all.
Well, nice. Let's play.
No, I was more likely to find a snowbank than I was anything resembling rough.
Yeah.
So
You'll
tight
have-
lies.
Tight lies. All right, Arnie this week. We will see you next week.
Yes, sir.